Hello Singer sewing fans. Here we have two examples of German machinery that was made in the 1950s. These are two Singer sewing machines that you rarely see in the States because they weren't fabricated in the States or in England. They were made in Germany. The one on the left is the 216G and the one on the right is the 316G. They both offer zigzags, as we can see with the lever on the left, and the lever on the right over here is also the zigzag. Over here we have the ability to give other stitches with cams or fashion discs. We also have a knob for the needle position to go left, center, or right on both machines. We have the length selector that also goes into reverse that we see on the class 15 and 201 models. And we also have it over here. Okay, it's a different style. It's the same function. We also have levers on the base of the machine, something that you don't see in other Singers, at least the old ones, for the feed dogs. Everything else is pretty similar and pretty accustomed to people that have used old black Singers. It's not difficult to use these. As far as the bobbins, they both have class 15 bobbins that are front facing and they're also vertical. They're silent machines. They don't make that much noise and they're very durable. They're very heavy. From what I understand in reading up about the history of these machines, the designs for these models were inherited by a German company that was called the Heyde and New Company. Singer purchased the company. It was situated in Karlsruhe, in a factory over there, from what I understand, around the 1950s, somewhere around 1954, after World War II. They're very heavy. They're made out of steel, as I mentioned before, even though the one on the right is very similar to the 201 that was made after World War II in Scotland in the Kilbowie factory, the one that we see in the back. That has an aluminum casing. It's very light compared to this one over here. Okay, so let me put some material so we can hear what they sound like. Let's do this one first. There we go. And now the one on the right, the 316. It must make a lot more noise for, I guess, because it has more machinery to accommodate the function for the fashion discs. Also, the box is acting like an echo, like a speaker. It's not the original box for this machine. It was, I didn't have it, and I borrowed it from the 201, the one that's in the back. The one on the left has a very nice sound for a class 15 bobbin. As I mentioned before in a previous video, I modified this so I can have easy access with one hand to the bobbin case over here. Okay. And I had difficulty using the lever. It was impossible for me to use it because this linkage over here was solid. We had old oil deposits that just jammed this linkage. I couldn't free it up. The only thing, and it's the first time that I've done it, that helped was putting a blowtorch, a plumber's blowtorch directly over here on the linkage. And in a matter of 1 or 2 seconds, it just freed up the whole mechanism and it worked fine. I didn't do this on the one on the left, I see it almost like a museum copy. The one on the left, they really didn't use it that much. It's in pristine condition, and as you can see, you have to be an octopus to use it. You have to have patience, and you have to hold it down with one hand, lift it with the other, and then you gain access to the bobbin case. If I leave it alone, it's going to tilt backwards. So this modification with the gas strut really helps. Okay. One may ask, why do I have these models? I was always very, very happy with my 201. I have the classical model that's made out of cast iron, the aluminum model that's in the back, and the 15 series. I like the machines that are made in Europe for the simple reason that they have the outboard motors. If something goes wrong, you can just pop another one, or you can fix it, or whatever. I have some potted motors. I haven't had any problems with them, but as I had mentioned before in another video, they do have a weak point in the linkage in the back. That linkage, when it works, it's fantastic, but it's not made out of metal. From what I understand, it's like a worm drive that connects the potted motor to the flywheel, and that's fabricated by this material that's impregnated with oils, and if that disintegrates or breaks, you're not going to find those parts again. It's very difficult to find another one. You will, because there are a lot of singers that are out there, and you'll get another one that's old, but as time goes on, they're not going to get any younger. They're already upwards of 70, 80 years old. So I think that something like this is something that's going to last for the ages. I mean, I'm going to be long gone and buried, and if people are going to be sewing out there, somebody's going to be using these, or they're going to put them in a museum or in a collection or somewhere. So I try to cherry pick models now and machines that we don't have that problem where things will break down that much. These machines over here, there's not much that can break down. If you take care of them, they're going to outlast you. They're going to outlast their owners. And the beauty of them is that they have a very nice top stitch, and they have a very nice zigzag. To be honest, the first vintage zigzagger that I purchased wasn't a Singer, it was a Neki. And the thing that the Neki BU does that I think nobody else can do with machines of this era, it has a beautiful satin stitch. But the one on the right over here, the 316, it has nothing to be ashamed of. It has a beautiful zigzag. It has the possibility to do a lot of other stitches, upwards of 31 stitches, I believe. And if somebody wants to, I've seen people that use 3D printing to make new discs. These are Bakelite discs. And, it's something that can break. I haven't had one that broke yet. But if it does break, and if you have a silhouette or a model of an older one, you can make a new one with the 3D printer. There are people out on the web that are doing it for fashion discs like this. So let me stop for a second. Okay, so let me put this through the paces so you can have an idea of what this machine can do. Forward, This is Zig Zag. Let's bring this up. Here you can see so for this to go left, right, or center, it has to be on 0. Okay. Let's take a look at the one on the left. Straight. Zigzag. It is smooth. If I didn't know any better, I think that it was a rotary hook and not an oscillating hook. It's really something. Let me show you a direct comparison with the 201. The horizontally placed rotary bobbin case is something. It really was a piece of art and engineering. Kudos to the engineers of the time. It's very silent. It takes some getting used to know how to clean out the bobbin. But, you know, once you learn how to do it, it's not that bad. Taking a look at two other things over here that people don't pay that much attention to. People assume that having a spoke disc that has a bigger diameter, that it has more punching power. This is used for people that want to use a hand crank or the treadle. The diameter where the belt hooks up with the motor, this is a smaller diameter than this over here. So if you want something that has more torque and punching power, you're going to want this. Even though this does look nicer. So that's all I have to say about these machines. I didn't know they existed until I got my hands on them. And happy sewing. I use them. I don't just keep them. I don't know what I'm going to do them in the future. I don't know if the next generation is going to want to learn how to mend their jeans or make curtains the way I do. I've made some wonderful things. Let me show you one piece of crafting work that I did. Here's an example of what someone can make with these old machines. This is heavy sailcloth that was given to me by a friend that had to put a new jib on his private sailboat. I purchased some webbing from a marine store. I made reinforced hems, a nice pocket over here, and a base and shoulder length handles. So this is something that you can make with these old machines. You can't do this with the plastic Singer that you're going to buy. I tried. It didn't do it. If you want to shell out more than $1,000 for, you have machines that are going to be able to handle it. But I have a taste for these. I really like them. It's a piece of history, and I like bringing them back to life. They don't need that much work. Saying that, even if you just use the 15 class Singers, and I'll do a video on that in the future. They're really nice. They're more forgiving with thicker threads. They're not that finicky, and they're easy to take care of. And I think it has one of the best top stitches. That, along with the 201 and the featherweight 221, 222, and the 301. That's all for now. I was happy to share these three pieces of Singer history that I have over here. Looking forward to talking to you guys again. Take care. Bye.